Okay, so in today's video we're going to have a look at another example of part 2 of the Reading and Use of English section of the Cambridge Certificate of Proficiency in English exam, the C2 level Cambridge exam. And part 2, what is it? It's called the Open Cloze. If you remember, I've got other videos on it that you can have a look at on the channel already. Yeah, what's in part 2? Basically, it calls it a modified cloze test consisting of a text with 8 gaps. Candidates think of the word which best fits each gap. So basically the same as part 1, except you have no options. You've got a short text with 8 gaps and you just have to kind of know the answer. What kind of words are you going to have to put in those gaps? Well, it says, what do I have to practice? Awareness and control of grammar with some focus on vocabulary. So basically, it's going to be focusing on collocations, grammatical terms, parts of phrasal verbs, things like that. It's not going to be particularly elaborate or very difficult vocabulary. The words that you're going to have to use in these gaps, they're going to be words that are necessary for the function of the sentence. No, so sort of grammatical words. How many questions are there? As I said, 8. There are 8 gaps and 1 mark per correct answer, just 1 mark in this section of the exam. So without further ado, let's go to the example here. It says mission to Mars, right. And 0 there is the example. It's 4. Wanted. So this is an advertisement now, I think. Wanted, a middle-aged married couple for a 501-day round trip to Mars. Applicants must be physically and emotionally robust. I suppose you have to be kind of in good shape and mentally fairly strong to spend 500 days alone with your wife. No. In space is what I meant. Good dad joke there. Okay, so what we're going to do, I think it would be a good idea if you want to pause the video here and have a look at the exercise yourself. If not, I'm just going to go through it on my own here and have a look at the gaps and talk you through how I would get the correct answer. I think what I assume is the correct answer. Okay, this will be the profile of the very first Martian astronauts if multimillionaire Dennis Tito's plans to launch a capsule on the 5th of January 2018, so it didn't happen, actually, to fruition. Well, this is an expression which means if things actually turn out how we wanted them to. Your plans can actually, comes from, obviously, from botany, talk about plants. Flowering and then bearing fruit. No. So it's if the plans actually come to fruition, I think is the expression there. So yeah, Dennis Tito planned to launch people into a round Mars trip in January 2018. Didn't happen. Don't know if you remember that. People didn't go around Mars in 2018. History took a slightly different turn about a year ago. So, yeah, anyway. The capsule will take the crew to about 160 kilometers above Mars. The spacecraft will use the gravity of Mars to allow the return to Earth without burning any more fuel. So it's going to go around and get pulled back by Mars's gravity. For fuel efficiency is a priority. Yeah, you'd imagine it would be. Yeah, fuel efficiency is a priority. The 2018 deadline has been fixed. The next launch window when Mars and Earth align again isn't 2031. Okay, so I think this one's a bit complicated. Again, sometimes you have to read the whole sentence a couple of times just to kind of grasp exactly what they're trying to say. So, the spacecraft will use the gravity of Mars to allow it to return to Earth without burning any more fuel for fuel efficiency is a priority. And then it's kind of like a separate point here, I think. It says the 2018 deadline has been fixed. The next launch window when Mars and Earth align again isn't 2031. Right, okay, so I think the point is here, they're telling us why they have decided that 2018 is the deadline. I think the 2018 deadline has been fixed because the next launch window when Mars... I think it's because the next launch window... because the next launch window when Mars and Earth align again isn't... Right, okay, this is why. It's because if not, they would have to wait until 2031, which would be the next time when Earth and Mars come close together, no? When they next align, I suppose. Yeah, I think that's right. It's been fixed. That's why they have fixed that window. No, 2018 is the deadline, because if not, they're going to have to wait till 2031. So I guess 2031 is when they're going to do it. No? It's order. But the race is on to develop systems involving totally new technologies. But the race is on is contrary to what we've just sort of heard, no? So the race is on. They're doing it. They're developing systems involving totally new technologies. And the expression here is it's a tall order. It's a tall order. It means it's very difficult. It's setting the bar very high. The expectation, what they're expecting to achieve or hoping to achieve, is very ambitious. No, when you say it's a tall order, I think the expression basically means that it's very ambitious. No, it's a tall order. Yeah. Okay, so now in 13. We're starting a sentence with a word that these can be put in place soon enough. The spacecraft might just it. So the technologies, I think what we're saying here is if these technologies are put into practice or put in place soon enough, then the spacecraft might just be able to do it. It might be possible. Right, so I think we've got what do we call it? Participle clause here, isn't it? Or is it an adverbial phrase? I'm not sure. Anyway, I think in 13 I would say, and I think there could be more than one possible option here, but in 13 I think I would say providing that these can be put into place soon enough. So if we can put these things in place soon enough, the spacecraft might just make it. Yeah, when you make it, it means you achieve what you set out to, no? Very typical in sort of military films. No, one of them gets shot. I'm talking about shooting again. I don't know what's wrong with me. Every video I talk about shooting. Okay, yeah, but it's very typical in a military film. No, someone gets shot, they're on the floor, and it's like, I'm not gonna make it. And the other one's like, you will make it. I don't know what film that's in, but yeah, probably more in parody than in an actual film. But there you go. But even if it leaves Earth, the efforts to achieve these ambitious goals will not be in as they will lead to valuable advances for future missions. Okay, so that's a good thing, no? They will lead to valuable advances for future missions. So I guess we're saying something negative in 15. Even if it can't be doesn't, because we've got leaves with an F. So even if it doesn't leave Earth, so it has to be affirmative. We're going to have some kind of adverb that is negative. So yeah, so it's even if it never leaves Earth, the efforts to achieve these ambitious goals will not be in, right, this is an expression, they definitely have it in Spanish as well. Very similar, I imagine, in Romance languages. The efforts will not be in vain. They will not be in vain. They will not have been for no reason. They will not have been meaningless and pointless and worthless, as they will lead to valuable advances in future missions. Well, how did you do? We finished part 2 of the proficiency exam again. I hope I added some value to this exercise. I hope my explanations, cleared everything up. If you had any mistakes, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video.